Thank you for the introduction. This is Nagasawa, and my expertise is architectural planning, and I have been researching the school buildings. I looked at education and facilities, children and school and community. And at this research institute, I have been engaged in building schools across Japan for 40 years. And also, I'm a visiting scholar at NIER, and I have been engaged in research at the Center for Research of Cultural and Educational Facilities, and also have engaged in research in MEXT. I'm not a government employee, but from my past positions, I have actually learned about the goal of Japanese school facilities. And so I would like to introduce some of the school facilities as examples and make a comparison with the countries that made presentation today. And I hope that my talk will be of some help for the discussion that will take place later on. So, digitalization has progressed and has changed the society, and education is also being urged to change. I'll talk about the issues, and the presentation so far has covered some of the issues that education faces, and countries are dealing with these challenges based on their own ways. Right now, knowledge can be learned at any place without the constraint of time or space. Then what is a school, and what is a school to provide as learning? It's a place to assure learning and to grow with others, and also to provide a optimum learning for individuals, and also collaborative learning without leaving anybody behind. What becomes important here is the actual space, as the chief of the center said, and it's also a facilities environment. In 2022, MEXT, the Ministry of Education, has come up with a report. It is a school facility that will realize the learning of a new era. So this was after the COVID-19, and it is a giga school project providing one terminal to one student. So this report shows the objective and the challenges of the current education. This report compares education to a tree, and the learning is a big trunk in the middle, and around it is the rich living space, and also the co-creation between community, and also the safety of children and community, and also a comfortable and sound environment and sustainable environment of the earth. And with this report, last year in September, they have come up with a series of ideas for enhancing well-being. And it talks about that we must move away from class teaching, focused on teaching knowledge, and to aim to build a learning space which enables variety of exploratory learning, leveraging digitalization and ICT to maximum. And what is needed there is that we must move away from our stereotype on the school facilities. The report expresses this as thinking in the future-oriented thinking. And for that, we should not start from naming a room first, but we must imagine as Professor Honjo of Kanazawa School says, we must imagine what kind of learning is taken, or what kind of learning is actually conducted, and we must image a space that would realize such a learning. Ireland and Korea, New Zealand, they have presented examples where we could get such images. So the challenge comes first. And when we think about the keyword for the future school facility is commons and well-being. So I talk to teachers, I talk to the community people, or I talk to the school administrators based on these concept, commons and well-being. So common, what are some of the concepts that constitute commons? It's open, flexible, diverse space, seamless, inclusive. So it's a way to look at a space. So the users, the children and teachers, when they look at this concept, I think we can use the word edit. That is, the users must be able to use the school building as they like. So that is the objective or the goal of the school building, and it consists all these concepts from open to real. Another concept is a well-being, and in a relation with people around you, you can create a school building where everybody can be comfortable. So I think we can use the word comfortable, and comfortable to learn and comfortable to teach. So everybody gathers and they can edit. So a space must be editable. That is the school building that we aim at. I said that we should not call the rooms as it was called in the past. So we use the word commons. So we should not call the room. We should. What about if we call the rooms commons? So the grade commons, team commons, not library but learning commons. Special rooms can be called special rooms, art commons, team commons, and also like the teachers commons. So by changing the name, what kind of image do we have? What kind of wishes do we have for each room? So I just proposed using the word commons. Now I'm going to talk about various commons with real examples. Let's look at the classroom. So let's call the classroom team commons. This diagram shows, as in Korea's presentation, there was some stairs seating. So schools have started to change by opening classrooms. That was 40, 50 years ago. And classroom used to be for simultaneous lessons, but the free or flexible activities cannot be secured only with classrooms. So we came to have open spaces. So classroom can be left as it is, and you can have a folding partitions maybe, and so schools were built that way, and open spaces were used to conduct team teaching, and a variety of learning styles came possible, and this supported the educational reform. However, I think it's necessary to make a big jump from here, and that is to look at the classrooms completely anew. We should not have classrooms first to add space. it has to be the other way around. So 50 to 100 students should be the basic population, and we should have 2 to 4 homeroom teachers, and so the students can be flexible in an open group. So we should not just combine open spaces based on classroom, but the big space should be the basic unit which accompanies 50 to 100 students, and we should provide variety of spaces within that big space so that various learning can take place within that. This could be called team commons or class commons or the grade commons or maybe subject commons. So let's look at the real examples. So when we review the concept of classroom, we created multi-purpose classrooms, but now one terminal is given to one student. So the student table desk has to be bigger. And during the pandemic era, we had to take social distances. So the MEXT made a study that you had to be 2 meters away from the student. And so 65 square meters classroom accommodated 45 students, but you need about 2 square meters per student. So you need space for learning, but you also need space for taking space because of pandemic. So you need to enlarge the classroom.
So the Irish new schools classroom that I have seen when the learning is done, that is about 25 to 30 people in one classroom. That is about per 2 square meters. By making the classroom to be bigger, then they have more space, they can put their things. And that is the issue that will become. So as I mentioned earlier, to make the classroom bigger, to make various corners, it's a classroom of 90 square meters, and to make it slightly larger, then to make some spaces, extra spaces available to be used. And that has been gradually worked on in today's situation. So I've talked about Japan, but actually in our learning facility research center so in order to create the creative learning space, we have done the studies on this. Professor Kakino of the Tokyo Science University have cited this example from Finland. So within the classroom, diversified corner is provided. Because to have not in the classroom, but to make the classroom to have the available to enable the diversified activities. And those are the provided in that we have learned from the Finnish schools example in a classroom. So as I have mentioned before, that these are things that be pictures like this. This is the in the classroom, having the multi-purpose space is combined with the classroom, but the classroom itself is having some small corners, and one classroom can be closed, and the small room is provided, and so on. So this is the team common. That is one of the concept of the grade commons as well as team commons, and various type of furnitures and the jigs are provided to provide the diversified spaces. And in the team commons is further developed, and to think in this way, in this concept, to have the team commons to be a concept to be expanded. Well, as you can see in the classroom, the multi-purpose space is combined, and various pod or corners are provided. That is not just to make the open space, but rather having some purpose pod or space is provided to meet the needs of the diversified goals, purpose. In some later, I think you have the drawings and you can look at in my handout. For the school teachers and also from educational board, in thinking about the future classroom image, and that is we have discussed and to think about it together with the teachers. This example in high schools, senior high schools, and for the space of the 40 people classroom is available, and that is has been proposed not from the conventional ones, but rather 80 students to be one grade, and that has been proposed as such. This is called a learning pod that we have named, as you can see here. That has been proposed, and then we have felt possibilities so that the school want to utilize these spaces as a learning pod. In the conventional ones, instead of the 35 students classroom, that is also possible to be configured as well. But you can have the different type of grouping is possible among the students so that the classroom activities can take place in many diversified way where the screen can be provided. This is actually realized in Kyoto City High School. This is called LPOD. Diversified activities can be achieved and done in this LPOD. That is shown in this slide. Two classrooms are combined in the collaboration lab. One is a semi-open, the other is open. But the class can use in a flexible manner. This is an example in Dutch, a Holland example, having the common space continuously from the classroom. This example in Sweden. So various spaces are available and the locations and also coexistence with the other classrooms and to make the entire space to be used. So space can be effectively utilized in such a way, and that is activity as such. And for that, what about the students' belongings? And that is the outside of the classroom, the lockers are provided to make the schools in I'm learning as of time well, and also per subject in a similar way that you can do so that is the subject commons and science commons and so on. So you can flexibly manner to create freely the environment. And so that is the common classroom as in the subject. The subjects are taught by the different teachers, and that is be edited and changed and such. And where you can provide a venue of learning, you would need various type of furnitures are important to be achieved. After this, I'd like to talk about each space now. And what kind of commons can be provided. I just like to show you the examples in pictures. This is a library, and this is a learning commons. To make this library as the learning commons and entire schools, and to be exchange location as well of the school-wide situation opportunities. But to support the learning, books are the basis for the space to be used as a part of the learning. So therefore, library is not just central part of the learning, but the space and that itself can become the school. And within the library, all kinds of the location where the students can be in, and that is the venue for learning. And within, it doesn't have to be just one. In the middle of the classroom and on the special classroom, and it has a different type of the books are available and to be placed. And the library, it has the significant power in the schools, and having the large screens can expand to the community as well. For the special classroom is the true activity venue. Those are different from the conventional ones, like where the students do the crafting, but you can have the creator space, maker manufacture space, a new way of calling the space in different ways. In the special classroom, it is not just each room to be closed, but those are linked together, having the flexibility and to have the subject in a diverse way as possible. So the space itself provides a new type of learning and create and produce a new learning space, and that is to be used for the facility planning. And also manufacturing, it's not just simple production, but rather where one can have a conceptual idea about what should be manufactured and maybe working together with their friends to do that. And it is different from the in a general sense of learning, but then all the elements of that learning is available here. So in this school, that is one of the other central part of this school. In other words, so where it is, they need to go out of the box thinking and to provide a new learning venue. And that is not just within the classroom, but also the space in front of the classroom where it says school is a museum. And for those objective learning style, and to have some substance to attitude to be formulated in this way. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the school commons, so that that is a learning space, and on the entire space of the school is the learning and exchange venue, and that has been already introduced in many ways. And in the Kanagawa University, Professor Tachibana has the Kanagawa University and the Kanazawa University. So in Danish, the classroom itself has the common core, big space is available. So common core is the learning commons. And as you can see, that where people can gather together is available here. And also a smaller number of students can spend time with their teachers or with friends, and that the space can be utilized. And also, sometimes it could be colorful, but then in the freestyle space, and then designer role has a significant meaning. Lastly, this is a Swedish school. I noticed from looking at Swedish classroom, and this is a school from 80 years ago. Has been modified, where in the corridor where there's a classroom is placed. But then if you put the chairs, they try to call it chairing, so that when you put the chair, then you can have the learning. And this is the initiative to do that is very interesting, and I think it's important to do so. And that is a venue as such. And they have the staff rooms and the faculty commons, and which I wanted to talk about this, but this is the in the staff room, but rather from the center. We'll talk about this in the later part of the program, so I'll skip some of the slides. And it is a free address where people can being conscious of the free address system is used for the staff or the faculty rooms to enhance the individual working space, as well as to have some collaboration, and also where people can have some refreshment, can relax and refresh, and also working, linking with the students, and how do you provide the private spaces as well as the public spaces, and to be combined and to be built. And that is the plan for the future of the faculty or the staff room. This is a free address, and in the primary school and also middle school, and there's a common space where the dining space for the teachers, available, and so comprehensively speaking, to make the new schools to be built in the futuristic concept. In some sense, the convention, it is a school that doesn't look like the conventional school that has existed before. And then in the nuclear, when we had a nuclear power plant in that town, to make the new community, and also they have the example of building the schools. They already started living outside of the town, but when they come back to the town after the disaster, this is something what they can learn, and this is something the schools, so therefore they need to build a school that doesn't look like a conventional old school, and that's what we have discussed to make this school to be merged, to be built. And that I'm running out of time, and so with the large halls and the learning, they don't call it like a special classroom, but instead they can call it some sort of the research lab or research institute. Then they can be engaged by naming it to help and to have the concepts of what kind of study they want to do. So the key word can be used to stimulate and where students' concept to be further expanded, what they want to learn. And that is the school that we want to build. And as I have mentioned and talked about, and there has been a presentation from different countries, to achieve that, their purpose, these are the important things I feel that making the facilities available. And for everyone participating, what they have considered, and until they will be communicated and will inherited to all the future generations. And this is the newspaper. Those teachers who want to utilize the schools and those who will be coming, and that is what they are the purposes and the possibilities that they may have in the future in this newspaper. So the concept, from making stage discussions, and then to the next generation to be linked with. So those are all combined, and to make the schools can be achieved from this. So that is what I think about. Achieve the new learning. School facilities are very important, and that has been expanding. So I really appreciate all of you who are here today. I think you are the key person to be enable and achieve that. And we like to work together for the children and for the community and to think of the new style of schools. Sorry I'm extended over time, but thank you for listening.